Cyberlogik Foundation is a non-profit by a group of young professionals that want to impact the community.
At the moment, the Cyberlogik Foundation is comprised of a small group of people, like-minded people who just want to help in the three core areas that the foundation aims at improving: education, disaster relief, and innovation through technology.
Like I said earlier, Cyberlogik Foundation started in 2010. It started with myself and my sister, Ummi Yakubu, the person behind the camera, and a couple of friends fresh out of undergrad. And we wanted to just find a way to impact the community around us with little or no resources, because we had none. Because we believe in humanity, we also believe in resourcefulness rather than resources. The first project was an outreach program, but we didn't have a host community per se to start with. We had the idea of, okay, if we got 12 Ghana Must Go bags, and we went around to family and friends, filled up those Ghana Must Go bags with old clothes, shoes, books and toys, we can actually impact a community. So we did just that. We got 12 bags, we filled it up, we went house to house and got old clothes, shoes, books, toys. And at the end of the day, we had more than 12 bags. So we did an outreach program at the lepers community in Abuja and a village called Rugokijo in Sokoto. The following year was when Nigeria had elections, and in Kaduna was the worst hit with post-elections violence. So we did the same disaster recovery program that we do. Got a couple of things, that people in the IDPs, needed. That was actually the first time we worked with the IDPs in 2011. Back then there were different IDP camps, the Muslim IDP camp and the Christian IDP camp. I think looking back, I think Nigeria we've come a long way, because now today, there's just one IDP camp for everybody. Then 2012 we did the same disaster relief for the victims of the 2012 flood. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was the worst hit flood in Lagos. So we went to a couple of schools, donated books, and just showed them we cared, and just gave them like psychological, moral support and the little that we could. 2014, that's when we started the Cyberlogik Foundation Scholarship Program. We started with 2 students in primary school. It was at that same point we met Skills Outside School Foundation and did a partnership with them. So we have a couple of students that we mentor from government secondary schools here in Abuja. 2015 was our scholarship program jumped from 2 students to 50 students. Something catastrophic happened in Nigeria. We had some radicals calling themselves Muslims. They've been ravaging communities.
I came here because of the incident that's happening in our area. That is the first time when these people enter our area, they don't burn my house. So that's why I said that I should try to leave that area. After I leave the area now, I sit down in Yola for some time, and after that the thing is almost increasing. And from that time now, I said that okay, I will look for where I will hide myself again. I just load my people. I come to Abaji so that we will rescue our lives.
The displaced people from the northeast or the northeastern part of this country. Most of them took interest. They were residing very close to this school here. I took sympathy and started admitting them in, even without anything. And since they came in, we have been living fine. The little assistance I can render from our end, like provision of exercise books, some scholarship materials that I have around, I gave to some. The NEMA came in, and that is when they started taking the statistics of displaced people variously. And they came in here firstly, if I have any. And I told them I had some. And they all assembled at the police station, where they went to register them. And later the next coming was when they come with some relief materials for them.
The first project I participated in that had the involvement of the Cyberlogik Foundation was a relief visit to an IDP settlement at Abaji camp. We had various groups come together to provide relief and support for the people identified as internally displaced people at Abaji. So we had medical teams to provide, medical support and counseling. We had the Cyberlogik Foundation to provide its educational benefits. We had various other groups anyway to provide relief of one form or the other.
Which they all assembled in this school, and their data statistics were taken and the distributions were made to them. And then it was since then I start contact with the Cyberlogik, who later come back after the various groups left. The Cyberlogik has made some donation of some amounts to take care of their books and textbooks which we've received.
During the initial visit to the IDPs, the Cyberlogik Foundation, whilst capturing the profiles of the school-aged children, identified a young boy who was amputated in the right arm.
So you see, at Cyberlogik Foundation, we have a passion about technology, and we also have a passion passion for humanity. We went out looking for how technology can impact, the society, and we came across 3D printing. Where we came in was we provided scholarships for about 50 students in primary and secondary schools, and Musa was one of the students, and luckily for us and him, we found that he was an amputee in just the right place that we had a solution for.
A prosthetic arm was designed for this young boy, so it was 3D printed, and then a subsequent trip comprising of a small team went to the settlement at Abaji to fit and modify, if necessary or as necessary, the arm for the boy.
There's a global community known as Enable, and Enable provide prosthetic limb designs, and they're open source. And open source means anybody can have access to them. So at Cyberlogik Foundation, we got this open source designs. We fit them, we slice them, and we print them, and we give them out for free.
The kid was excited about it all and thankful. So were the adults present, his dad, as well as other guardians around, especially as it was being provided free of charge and without them requesting for it. They did not know that the Cyberlogik Foundation would be interested in helping the boy in that way, and it was quite interesting for them to just see it being provided without it being asked for.
Cyberlogik Foundation is self-funded. At the moment, we do not receive funding in cash per se. We get help from people in terms of resourcefulness. Like I said earlier, we're looking at partnerships more than like cash donations. Don't get me wrong, it costs money to do, obviously, scholarship programs, costs money to do disaster relief programs, and as well as the prosthetic limb project. There are other groups, that we worked with. But the most inspiring is WAFSLI Foundation.
Water for Sustainable Living Initiative is a non-profit organization that provides rural communities with access to clean water, and we also educate them on the importance of sanitation and hygiene.
They've come in a better way to provide water. They say water is living. Without water, living will not be possible. And they came in their own way to provide borehole water for the use of both the IDPs and the community at large.
We see like we've adopted the Abaji IDP camp because we have a really close relationship. So we took him there in one of our visits because we go every couple of months to track our students' performance, to pay fees, and to see what it is they need, and how we can help and how we can provide psychological and whatnot help to them. So we took him there. He spoke to the chairman of the IDP camp, the headmaster of the school, and we went around and did a survey.
At the end of the day, we hope to provide them access to clean water through the provision of a borehole, and also we hope to help refurbish their toilets, because I've seen the toilets they have are in terrible condition. And we also intend to have a lecture on the WASH policy, water, sanitation and hygiene with the students of the school to educate them on the importance of good sanitation and hygiene, We also intend to provide the school with waste bins where they could be dumping some of the waste in the school.
I think funding is one big way in which the foundation can be helped to grow and achieve its goals. Collaborative engagements and efforts with other such organizations would also help, because we don't want to get to a position where two organizations are doing the same thing aimed at the same groups and others being neglected because resources are not being spread out as effectively as they could be. We're hoping that in the near future we get to scale up and expand operations and activities to help as much people as possible.
Also, to give back to Enable community by design enhancements. We have already come up with some design modifications that we think, will make the prosthetic limbs better for these kind of environments where the beneficiaries are usually malnourished and will not have the strength to actually move, the prosthetic limbs.
The Cyberlogik Foundation has been my first real engagement with an organized effort at helping humanity. Most of the ways I have contributed towards providing the small contributions I can towards humanity have been just with a group of friends here and there or schoolmates, but nothing as organized as the foundation in terms of its goals and the steps it's taking to get there.
We have a couple of cases we're working on in Lagos. In Lagos, we have at the Lekki Free Trade Zone area, we have a guy named Yomi, I think, working on printing partial fingers for him that will work with gloves. We were in Maiduguri 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and we went to a couple of IDP camps, but we went there and we saw a couple of people and we took measurements, and I think that's going to be our focus, for now. 60% of our time is going to be taken by 3D printing, 3D printing prosthetic limbs. At Cyberlogik Foundation, we believe in giving anonymously. Now, the value of giving anonymously is to put the giver and the receiver on the same level. The value of that is that the receiver does not feel any obligation towards the giver, and the giver is doing it like 100% no strings attached. Now, this is a tough ideal to reach for, but then we believe the highest form of giving is to give in such a way that the receiver is self-sufficient, and we strongly believe in these values. And we're also going to keep expanding our Cyberlogik Foundation scholarship program. We're going to keep doing disaster relief programs. We hope disasters don't happen, but if they happen, Cyberlogik Foundation is going to be there with a helping hand. And we're going to keep partnering with people. We're going to keep creating awareness, outreach programs. We're going to keep talking about humanity and talking about how you can do a lot with little. And it is my personal belief that if everyone, has a little humanitarian project that they do on the side, that the world will be a better place for it.